Right, Clarets, fan reaction. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1. It's another defeat, 5 in a row. We've not scored at home since the 18th of October. And yeah, what else is there to say? I think we were better tonight than we have been over the last few games. But that's by the by if you're going to concede soft goals like we did tonight. I know we only conceded one, but it was soft, and it was, again, everyone's always going to say you've conceded a soft goal and stuff, but for me, it was another poor moment defensively. And for me, it's the exact same goal that we conceded against Chelsea. Ball comes from the left-hand side, it's crossed over, and the guy at the back post heads it in back across Dubravka. And yeah, it's the exact same goal we conceded against Chelsea for their opener. And it's frustrating because we had a good chance tonight and we weren't completely awful like we have been in the last few weeks. Like Brentford on Saturday, we weren't good value for a point. At 0-0, we'd have been happy with that point. Tonight, a result was needed because after the setback of Saturday, obviously there's mounting pressure on Parker and the team from the fans. And the way that we managed to get ourselves back into the game on Saturday, only to throw it away like we did, within 45 seconds or something, they went back in front after we equalised. So I thought we'd have a bit more about us tonight, and I thought we'd try and set that right. And like I say, the performance wasn't completely awful, but it wasn't good. Too many stray passes, too many passengers in that side. There's so many times when we get the ball on the wing and whoever is on the wing, whether it's Anthony, whether it's Brun Larson, whether it's Hartman going forward, whether it's Walker going forward, whoever it is, they're the only player that far forward. No one else is busting a gut to get into the box, to get on the end of a cross. And then when we do manage to do it, like Hartman did a little bit later on in the second half, we overhit the cross. And it's so frustrating. Like, we get a corner and you know that we're not going to beat the first man. And Edwards came on and we got a corner, and I thought, finally, we're going to beat the first man. And he passes it short to Hannibal, and I don't think we get the ball into the box in the end. And yeah, there's so many moments in the game where you can see the thing that the players should be doing. And as a fan, it's frustrating because obviously we're not the professionals. We don't train day in, day out to then go and put in, a performance like that. And I know that the players will be mad at themselves, and I know Parker will be mad at himself, but tonight it's just not good enough, and we're not Premier League quality. And I'm such an optimistic person, and I'd like to sit here and say, that I honestly believe we're going to stay up, but from the performances in these last 5 games, I can't see how. I struggle to see how. And like I say, we've not scored a goal at home since the 18th of October. Granted, we've played in that time Chelsea, Arsenal and tonight, but, that's a disappointing start. As fans, we spend the money to go on the matches, as we do, and then to not score a goal at home, it's poor. But like I say, we did have chances tonight. I thought when Parker brought Hannibal and Edwards on and Brun Larson, I thought we looked much better. Like, I genuinely think in that second half we looked much, much better. And obviously, we must have done because they didn't score, but I don't know how much they took the foot off the gas. it did look like it a little bit, towards the 85th minute and stuff. But like, just going back to my point about players not going forward as well, we've got a free kick in the 94th minute or something, with 6 minutes added time. And we've got a free kick on the halfway line. We've got like 4 players not up the pitch, like 4 players. Obviously, the free kick taker, and then you've got Dubravka back, and you've got 2 other players not up the pitch, and it's like, you should be pushing everyone up the pitch. You should have Dubravka up there. I'd rather see us lose 2-0, going for the game, than see us lose 1-0, passing it round the back, not going for it. And like I say, I thought we did look better when the subs came on. I thought Brun Larson, I know he's got a lot of stick this season, and he's not been the player that we had 2 years ago. But I do think he did much better tonight. And he definitely suits that left-hand side much more than he does on the right. I thought Edwards, I've had my fair say on Edwards, and made a lot of comments about how I don't think he's the answer. But obviously something needs to change, and, giving Edwards a chance. And tonight when he came on, like I say, I thought it was a bright spark, and I thought he was superb going forward. But that final ball, and the issue that I have with Edwards is his decision-making when he's in the attacking areas, getting the ball in the box. All he wants to do is try and take every man on, and that's what he was doing tonight. Which works outside the box, but when he gets it in the box and there's about 6 players crowding around him, it doesn't always work. Hannibal, when he came on, I thought he brought us the energy. Obviously, after the weekend with the ridiculous dive, I don't know if that was a decision of why he's not in the team, or was it just because, we know Parker likes Anthony. Fucking bit of air. But yeah, it's frustrating. Brozier, anonymous when he came on once again. He's a waste of a squad place and a waste of a signing, in my opinion. I don't like to write players off, but for me, I've pretty much written him off now, because he hasn't shown me anything in any games where he's played. He's always anonymous whenever he comes on. And yeah, I just feel like almost resigned tonight to accepting relegation, and starting to sway into, is the change of a manager, potentially the right option? Because I know on the full-time show at the weekend I said, he's got a few games left for me. But I think I'm almost resigned to the fact that we're not going to get anything against Newcastle and Fulham. It's one of them where I struggle to see where we get the goals from. And if you then put that all together and we've lost 7 in a row, it's untenable for any manager. So yeah, for me, it's starting to look worrying. Big game against Newcastle on Saturday. Every game's big, but big game against Newcastle on Saturday. I struggle to see anything less than a defeat. But yeah, just a frustrating night overall. And we've got to do better. Up the Clarets.